Guess what? Soulful Journey is live, and I am in the doghouse.
Soulful means something that's heartfelt, deep and profound. To journey means to travel from one place to another. This show is about deep and heartfelt discussions about where we are, where we're headed, and where we've been. It's a place where we highlight memorable moments we've had. This show is about everything and everyone that is good for the soul.
Hello, and welcome to Soulful Journey. Let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me in the chat. It's one of those days. Yesterday was National Doghouse, Get Out of the Doghouse Day, and I feel like I'm in the doghouse right now. Why? Because you can see and hear me. Yes, thank you. And make sure you put your name in the chat because sometimes I can't even see who you are because we're broadcasting in a few different places. But yeah, can we take a deep breath? Thank you for your patience. I'm arriving a little behind schedule today because, I'm feeling like I'm in the doghouse. Well, we're going to talk about it. Hi, my name is Venus Jones. For those who are tuning in for the first time, I am an author, poet, and educator. And with the result, this show is really just about everything that's good for the soul. And we're going to talk about ways to take care of yourself when you're in conflict today. We're going to talk about the total truth. Okay, the total truth love letter process. Okay. And who you may be trying to get out of the doghouse for or with. But first, let's take a deep breath and let's focus. Ooh, can I just? It's one of those. Hot flash. Yes. It's going to be okay. Let's take a deep breath. That's what we're here for. All of those high achievers with anxiety, I'm here for you. Let's focus on this breath. Let's feel ourselves breathing in. Feel yourself breathing out without trying to control your pattern of breathing. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Notice how every breath is different from the next. And it's the same with life. Ever changing, ever evolving. And whatever is going through your mind right now, you can let it slip away. And just for this moment, we can come back to harmony. Because you are safe. You are accepted. You are forgiven. And you are loved. Yes. Somebody said breathe in and breathe out. Total truth. Total truth. The total truth, y'all, is that, look. This is not just me being a diva with letting the air flow and the wings blow in the fro-yo. But this is real. Body going through changes. But I'm still smiling. And, in my older age, even though I still look, 25, I'm here to share some messages of hope and healing on this soulful journey. Today, we have to talk. We have to talk all about it. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, the meditation, it does calm and it does. Let me know if it works for you too. We like to start the show off with that, especially when we're running behind or if I'm to follow my own poetic wisdom. Everything is in divine and perfect time, even when we're running behind for some reason. We're running behind on divine purpose. I want to truly believe that. And we just take what's the lesson, right? So this week, I wanted to talk about a day. You know, I'm a Kwanzaa queen. You know, I love holidays. You know, I'm all like, what's this holidays? Is something that's good for the soul. If the holiday is good for the soul, I'm all about sharing it. So that's what this show is about. So I found out that yesterday, every third July of every month is National Coming Out of the Doghouse Day. So who are you in the doghouse with, and or why? Who put you in the doghouse, or who did you put in the doghouse? Can we talk about it? Because how do you celebrate this day? You celebrate this day because you might call a friend or a family member who you are not speaking to anymore. You might just let them know that they're still loved, even though they may not be liked. But you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's what the day is all about. And that makes you think, like, if I can't talk to them, can I at least write them a letter? So I wanted to talk to you about something I learned years ago. I'm talking about in 2004 from Jack Canfield. I went to a self-esteem seminar about success and all of these things that are personal keys and that some people share and some folks don't, about how they got over. Okay. And I just want to talk about the Doghouse and how the day even came about. So there was a novel called Peter Pan, and there was a character in the novel who just didn't do right by his family, or some of his kids got kidnapped or whatever. So he put himself in the doghouse. So this idiom of "I'm in the doghouse," that's where it comes from. And I'm all about these expressions, right? Like, and thinking about words and how these expressions come about, being the poet that I am. And so he put himself in the doghouse, and then it just became a popular expression of, if someone is upset with someone, they put them in the doghouse, or they put themselves there. And in Rush, I put in the label of this episode is, what question do you ask if you're trying to get out of the doghouse? There's one question that you could ask, just one, that might actually help you get up out of there. Okay, get up out of there. And that question, I'm not going to tell you because I want you to stay till the end, but I'll tell you what the question is. And I'm going to share it in a poem at the end of this episode, because it's in one of my poems called "Are You a Good Man?" But before I share it, I want to talk about what I said, which is this total truth love letter process, because it's so good for the soul. And this process, it's not for everybody, but I know that's something that's a popular question this week is, who is in the doghouse? It's just one question. Yeah, just one question. I see you. So, but this it's asking who is in the doghouse, and there's somebody in the doghouse again this week, and I hate to say it, but it's Karen. Okay. It's Felicia. It's so many people who are doing the things wrong, right? And I don't like how my husband is interrupting this conversation that I'm trying to have with y'all right now by asking himself. Are you asking yourself, or are you asking me? Are you ready to apologize to me? What? Look, so my husband in the chat trying to start some mess. Okay, but here, listen, we're going to talk about that too. You could be in the doghouse, not with your family members. You could sometimes be in the doghouse with your spouse. Now, I'm going to come back full circle here, but I was talking about Karen. Now, Karen is in the doghouse, and her name is really Abigail. I don't know if you all saw this trending. Everybody, some woman was in a Victoria's Secret, laid out on the floor, started crying because she felt like she didn't want to be recorded, but somebody happened to be a Black person who was recording her, and she happened to be white, and she had, wanted to call the cops after she was the first person to physically attack somebody, but the camera was rolling. Now, the question is, how long do you do that? Do you, do you just call somebody a name that's maybe not their own because you're angry and you're still trying to sort it out in your mind of what's really going on here? Or do you ask another question? Now, I'm going to get to that question, but let's just talk about strangers, friends, family, spouses, people that you really know first, right? Now, people that you really know, you may be upset with them too, and you might want to ask them some questions, and you're not ready. But maybe sometimes writing a letter can help. So this total truth process, or the total truth letter, it's just tools to help you deal with the negative emotions. From the past, or from a natural state, your natural state. Anybody who's watching this, your natural state of love and joy, because some people will take you there, won't they? Won't they do it? Okay. So the reason why you do this total truth letter is because we can get stuck at the level of anger. Especially when someone tries to cut you off in traffic. What's the first thing you do? Your heart stops. You like, how dare you, right? That's where your body goes. And you are ready to lash right back. And what happens is you can lose all of your love, all of your joy. And some people are doing it on purpose because they're miserable. And this is where emotional intelligence comes in, which I'm working on, becoming an emotional intelligence practitioner. And I'm learning more and more about it because I feel like it can save lives. And I'm just here to share a little bit of what I already know. And so with this total truth process letter, so okay, let me take you back to 2004. I'm in this seminar, right? And everybody has like this. We're asked to like think about somebody who has hurt us. And we've already written this letter of what we want to say. And a lot of times it's our parents. A lot of people I noticed that were there, it was your parent who you didn't have a chance to like really speak to. So the first thing you had to speak to is, number one, there's 6 different emotions that you could speak to, or you can talk on verbally with the person's permission, or just in a letter. And maybe you don't even share the letter, you just keep it for yourself. But here's some prompts for you. Like, number 1 is anger, because that's the first thing that comes up is anger. And you could say that I'm angry that blank, right? So if we go back to that episode with Karen, if this is a complete stranger though, quote unquote Karen, and you say, Karen, I'm angry that you tried to hit me, right? Why would you do that? And maybe the person's they're going to express, or they may not. But then you say, it hurt me when blank is an example. Number 3 is fear. So we went from anger and resentment, and then you can express your hurt. And then number 3 is fear. I was afraid when you did X, Y, and Z. Right. So you have to own up and share your own vulnerability, because that's what's really happening when sometimes we're afraid, and the fact that you got me in this fear state makes you angry. So it's a mixture of emotions, as we say. Number 4 is remorse. You say, I regret, or I'm sorry that blank. Or you take some accountability, and you might even say, I take accountability, which a lot of people don't want to do. But that's number 4. I'm sorry that blank, or I didn't mean to blank. And then number 5 is, what do you want? Very key question. I want blank. What do you want from that person? And then number 6 is, you can express some love and some compassion, or maybe in forgiveness. And you can say, I understand that blank, or I appreciate blank, or I forgive you for blank. I hope y'all got a pen and pad with all of this. So again, if not, if you send me an email at vjvenusjones.com, or visit my bio in my Instagram at Venus Love Jones, I will gladly send you the list. But this is the total truth process. So number 1, anger, I hurt you. I can give you more prompts in more detail later, but I'm trying to keep this brief. Fear, then you got remorse is number 4. 5 is, what do you want? Everybody don't always know. And then number 6, you can express some love, compassion, and forgiveness. So that's the total truth, right? That's the total truth process. And let me go back up because I'm seeing people in here who are asking questions or something. I see. I'll say that it's my fault, not Felicia's. Okay. Bye, Felicia. That's what I feel so bad for Felicia, Karen, all these people who their names have been like associated with Doghouse. So quarantine made a lot of people feel like they were in the doghouse. Yes, so true. Especially when if your family, not just quarantine, but just the whole pandemic in general, you might be in. I know a lot of people are in the doghouse because they chose not to get the vaccine, and some people are like, "I'm not talking to you until you get the vaccine. Those are my conditions." I think that might be extreme, but at the same time, you could use this total truth process to get out of the doghouse with that person if you really truly want to get out. You can express, what you regret about the situation. You can express what hurt you about it and what you were afraid of, right? And that's when we can see each other's common humanity a little bit more. And a lot of anxiety and unrest arose around out of that resulting lack of connection, sense of personal importance. Yes. So thank you who wrote that. Okay, so being in a let me see. Okay, I got one more comment here. Being in the doghouse, to take the analogy somewhat literally, as a place of isolation and separation, can be a place where one can process emotions and thoughts. And in what are you saying here? And in that sense, the doghouse can be a place of healing and growth. Whoa, okay. It just says Facebook user, so I don't really know who you are, but I like what you're saying there. So again, yes, the doghouse can be a space where you go to collect yourself. Do all dogs go to heaven? All dogs can go to the doghouse to make a space for a sacred meditation, and sometimes meditation and mindfulness can take you to heaven, right? And that's why I like this metaphor of going to the doghouse, because it is true that sometimes we treat we can treat dogs better than humans, some folks, but sometimes humans are treated better than animals. But both are important. We're all sentient beings, and we have to remember that it's so important to tell the whole truth, the total truth, and that's what this love letter process is about. So I'm hoping that helps. All dogs go to heaven. They all go to heaven. Yay! Let's shake the maracas. We gonna send them there. Yeah. So if you are a dog, you can still go to heaven. You can still go to that house behind the other house, and you can collect yourself, and you can come back out. You can come back out and outdo somebody who feels like they can't learn from a dog. We can all learn from everyone, right? And all beings. So I just want to keep this this on point. So this week, going back to relationship, and me spilling a little bit of beans, I was in the doghouse a little bit, where, okay, so for example, I was so upset with myself. I put myself in the doghouse because I wasn't eating what I thought was best for me to eat, right? And I felt like I had broke somewhat, it's not a diet, but it was just like me, feeling like, okay, I'm already not feeling, I feel like I'm healing my solar plexus, and I'm still trying to heal. Like I had a little bit of a stomach bug and I was trying to heal it, but I'm still eating. I felt like I was eating poorly. So then I started beating up myself, right? So when you start doing that, that's not okay, because now it's like you are putting yourself in a doghouse. So let's talk about that. And what is that voice that's telling you that you're bad, you're not good, so if you get that voice, and I know that voice very well, you can see it as a coach instead of an inner critic. You can start framing it as this person is this inside voice that you have is really just trying to help you, right? It's really just trying to give you, and it's really also trying to do this same total truth process of, I feel hurt, or I'm angry that you broke your promise to me of eating better, right? And I fear that if you continue to eat this way, you are not helping with the healing process. So if you can see it like and frame it where that voice is really just trying to help you, it can be a lot more beneficial. So all the colors are good for us. Yes, woof woof. The whole truth. This is the whole truth, this episode. And I'm coming clean because I wasn't eating clean, but I'm telling the whole truth. And here's the thing, when we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not practicing self-compassion, it can blow up. And what happened was then I wanted to yell at Steven, my husband. And he was feeling like, okay, well, let me go upstairs. Okay. And I don't even want to sit down and eat with you because of your energy. So that happened. And so I wanted to like recollect myself. And I did that. But that's just it. He was going to his own doghouse in a way too. He was going away from the situation because I was in hell. He was like, I'm about to go to heaven because I'm tired. And I'm usually when it's tired, but yes, the reframing is key. So the reframing is key. And that's what it is called. It's called reframing. You can look at something one way and then look at it another. We could say that person who was laying out in the floor, we could say, I feel sorry for that person. Instead of you wanting to lash out to them, you could say, I feel sorry for anybody who feels that entitled all the time, that they gonna fall out, right? But it's deep. It's deep. Mental health is real. Mental illness is real. Sometimes I feel like the whole culture is crazy, and some people get mad at me when I go there. But this is why it's so important that we take care of ourselves and we emancipate ourselves from all this mental slavery. I don't care what color you are. We have all been taught by folks who maybe not know, because I was talking to a former guest on the show today. She called me and her name was Tarita, and we were talking about how because I was like, with somebody in my family, I'm surprised that they do this because they're educated. But my grandma always told me you could be an educated fool. And just because you're educated by who? Who educated you? So sometimes, it makes me think about El-Hajj Malik Shabazz. Most of you know him as Malcolm X. He is considered one of the most scholarly men on the planet. He never had a degree. He didn't have a traditional degree. So again, all of this I say to say that we can heal our past. We can heal the present, and we can look forward to the future when we are really willing to look at the total truth. Yes, Ashe. All right, so I told you I would leave you with a poem. Let me do that. But before that, let me tell you, speaking of poems, I'm so excited that for all of the patrons, and I want to give a shout out to all of my patrons. You know who you are. Oh gosh, forgive me if I don't mention everybody, but Finn, Yolanda, Shannon and Christy and anybody else who is watching this who supports me through Patreon. Make sure you know that you can follow, check out my website, venusjones.com, and become a patron today, because I have a gift for my patrons that this has been long overdue. I have given at the $5 level. We are releasing the She Rose audiobook. So if you love my voice and you want some poems that will help you rise to your fullest potential, then you definitely want to become a patron today. And you can get more information at venusjones.com and the top banner. Ashe? All right, so let me read this poem. I gotta reach for it. Can I reach for it? Reach for it. Okay. This poem I want to read to you goes back to that one question. It's only one? If I could keep this real simple? Yes. Sometimes it's only one question. I'm just wondering if anybody really know my work. What do you think that question is? If you're really trying to get out of the doghouse, no matter who you with. What's the one question? What do you think the question is? Type it in the chat when I'm reading somebody else's comment here. What does it say? Okay, somebody wrote a paragraph here. And sometimes when we fail to meet our own personal standards and expectations, we can question whether it is our actions that were insufficient or off base, or whether it was the expectations that were out of whack and could use a little retooling and refocusing. Okay. Yes. Yes. You sound like a professor. Look. All right. So, yes, sometimes it's true that sometimes we have to, we can be off base. Expectations can have you. This is what I want to say about expectations when it comes to this healing process and this total truth love letter process. Do not be married to your expectations or the outcome when you're doing this work. Because when you're doing this work of really doing your best to resolve a conflict, just know that the person may not be ready. But whose soul are we most concerned with? Their soul or ours? Huh? Forgiveness is for who? It's not always for the other person. Holla if you hear me. Forgiveness is for who? Somebody tell it. Why, oh, who? You. Hey, somebody said they waiting on the question because someone is in the doghouse with me. Ooh, okay. Somebody is in the doghouse with you, Aisha. I see you. I hear you. I understand. Is it me? Am I in the doghouse with you, Aisha? Because I know I was supposed to call you back. I'm telling on myself. You know I love you. All right, so I'm looking at page 31 in the book. Because we got to ask, are you a good man? Because some people thought that this book, She Rose, was all about it for women, but it's also for good men. Not at all, twin. Okay, I'm happy to hear that. I love you too. See, you know, our true friends, the people who are really for us, we could just pick up where we left off. Don't you love those people? You could have possibly haven't talked to them in years, but when you call them, it's just like yesterday. I love that, right? But sometimes when we still want to have inner peace and we still want to send love to those who are not in our likeness and in our same spirit or personality or communication style, that's okay too. And we can do that with this total truth process and let them know that they're loved. So I want to read this. I'm going to read this. Forgiveness is for me. Yes, someone said that. Forgiveness is for me. It is. And it's so good for the soul. That's why I'm talking about this. So, are you a good man for my brother? In case y'all forgot what a good man looked like. Good men look past the color of your eyes and into your heart. A good man always gives you space, but never really wants to part. A good man may even say your name around his coworkers or crew. He loves to say, my wife and I, when he speaks of you. When you're in an argument that leads to a verbal fuss or fight, he'll find his way to the middle ground before the end of the night. I've known gentlemen who lend a hand and know how to open a door. I've known good men who don't feel the need to compete or score. A good man will pick your ego up off the floor if you fumble or fall. He'll kiss away the pain and respectfully return every call. Good men tend to serve their community and make the voiceless speak. This kind of man has a spirit so strong that your knees get weak. The ones who post love notes that inspire you to dream or fly, he'll live a life based in principles rather than lay down and die. Well, he's the one who brings home dinner just to put a smile on your face. Yeah, a good man delivers you plants and roses to perfume your place. I've known good men who are married, but they still set lunch and dinner dates. He even threw out whiskey to help her discover her good traits. A good man will stand beside his queen on that dark and dreary day. I've seen him kneel down to give thanks, asking God to lead the way. A good man reads books on how to maintain family and cash, and a real good man has that polite patience that often resembles class. I've known good men who plan surprise parties to fill up an empty home. This kind of man will tell you if he feels the need to roam. And a good man will listen with a third ear when you talk. He even knows the value of a good star-lit walk. I've known good men who love to massage away stress, greet you with hugs, a bubble bath, and say, rest. A good man can smile and make the sun shine during stormy weather. He's really good if he tends to ask, how can I do better? For all those reluctant men who are still wondering, what does she have to do? All the above qualifications apply when in search of a good woman too. Yes! Ashay. Yes, I gotta shake it. I can't hear y'all's applause, but it's okay. I got my own sound effects today. All right, so listen, I want to know if you heard what question it is. What question was it? Who was listening? What's the question that was hidden in that poem that could lead to increased engagement? Clap, cheap, whoop, whoop. Okay, thank you. What was the question? What was the question? What was the question? Huh? I'll tell you. The question was, yes, Aisha, you was listening. How can I do better? You can ask your children this. You can ask your spouse this. You can ask that stranger this. And what it does, especially if it's a heated situation, it can make somebody like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. When you say, especially when it's someone you really care about, if you can rate me between like 1 and 10, where am I at? And I've done this. And my husband, when I did this with him, because he's such a dang on clown, he's just acting like he didn't want to tell me the whole thing. But him and I, we have humor. And again, humor can also de-escalate a situation, but you got to know that person's humor. So humor, never underestimate the power of humor, but we also never want to underestimate the power of truth. And let the person know that they can be honest, right? Let your child know that they can be honest. And that but what that does for that child is it lets them know that, wow, my mom really wants to be the best mom ever. And she's really making me think, what could she do to get a 10? So yeah, I wanted to share these gems with you because so many people are out here still working on their communication. And if you have a situation where you really want my help, feel free to visit venusjones.com and set up a discovery call with me. I'd love to see if I can help you further, and if it's a more specific and more detailed situation that you want help with. So yeah, I want to use all of this training that I've developed over the years to help as many people as possible as I'm getting better, right? With these heated situations. Feeling like a dog in heat over here with these hot flashes, but somebody said, oh, it's heated. I probably won't hear that question. I wish. Yeah, I wish. When it's heated, you may not hear that question come out of yourself or anybody else. But it is the question that comes with a lot of practice of controlling one's emotions. But we can talk about that another time. All right. When you're around people who want to be better, you will probably hear them ask directly or indirectly, how can I do better? That's so true. And those are the people that we want in our circle, isn't it? Because why? They are higher achievers, just like you. And I'm so happy to be of service. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for considering being a patron today and getting that She Wrote audiobook that has more gems. And you can hear my voice as much as you want, just for a tiny donation of $5, and you can cancel after later if you want. So remember to go to venusjones.com and remember to subscribe. If this was helpful, give it a thumb up. Feel free to share it with someone. And this has been an amazing conversation with you. Remember, that you don't have to stay in the doghouse, and that every year, if you want now, thanks to me, if I'm the first to tell you, you can celebrate National Get Out of the Doghouse Day. Hey! All right. Well, until next time, I want to remind you that it is so important to keep looking up and to keep looking out, because when you do, there is a lot less fear and a lot less doubt.